We are at the Habit Cafe in Canyon with a new guest here, Ehud Abrahamson from Israel. As you might know, we have been in the business, food business with İlker for 5 years, and we are always saying that gluten is an addiction, sugar is an addiction. There are lots of addictions, and we are trying to change people's habits and just get rid of their addictions. And here is an interesting expert on the addictions, especially you make people get rid of the cigarettes and gluten addiction, as I know. So how did this story started? First, can you tell us about it?
So first of all, thank you for having me here today.
That's great.
I think there's a lot of common things that we can talk about, because what you're actually doing is what the people that come to me ask to do. And that's to change a habit, to kick a habit or to start a better habit. I help people with addictions, any kind of addictions, if it's chemical, psychological, but it started with cigarettes, nicotine. I come from Israel, and in the army I was a paramedic, and I used to work in a clinic. And soldiers that came to the clinic, I would tell them, excuse me, here you don't smoke. And people said, why? You know, because the doctor smokes, everybody smokes. This is 40 years ago. And I said, because it disturbs me. And then this kind of story started to go out that if you go to Abrahamson, he will make you stop smoking. And then I started getting calls from their parents and their friends. We heard that you help our child to stop smoking. I went to study in the university. I studied biology in Tel Aviv University and psychology in Haifa University. And at the same time was starting what today you call the new age. But the whole idea of holistic medicine and taking into account not only the body chemistry, but the spirit, the soul, the emotions. And I started combining the two things together to search for a method that would help people out of addiction, but without all of the problems they usually describe.
And what do you do? What's the procedure, right? Or is it a long-term thing that you make them get rid of it, or what's the procedure?
The procedure is actually very interesting, because we usually see people only one time.
Only one time?
Only one time.
How long?
And the therapy itself is about 1.5 hours to 2 hours.
Okay.
The first part is a conversation, because people come with doubts and with fears and with past trying and not succeeding. So we actually sit and go through the more psychological aspect. Then there is explanation about what is an addiction, how the chemicals take over, what is the whole aspect of making a change in your life. And then we do what is called today a healing or bioenergy therapy, in which the person comes into the clinic, sits down very comfortably, and the therapist is actually working inside their aura, inside different aspects of the meridians, making small changes and shifts in the chakras, because most people are just out of balance. And because they are out of balance, they're searching for something, and it can be food, it can be sugar, it can be alcohol. And in many times, a small change can actually rid them from life, from their addiction.
And so you say it's in 1.5 hours, you just make them get out of their addiction. And is it also valid for gluten?
Well, gluten is less an addiction. It is more a problem because some people have intolerance. In the extreme, we speak about celiac people, and that's like a problem. But because the many years of genetic modification of the wheat, we have today more different types or strands of gluten. And therefore, more people today are intolerant that weren't in the past. And just by getting rid of that, they can feel so much better. So I less see it as an addiction specifically to the gluten, but to a way of life, of carbohydrates and excess sugar. And we help them out of that.
We have been experiencing this for 5 years. And But what we do is, I'm going to get to that with the Ilker about it, but so you say, do they get rid of it in 1.5 hours or just afterwards? I mean, it doesn't matter if they have intolerance or if they're celiac, but so
when they come, it's like we switch off a certain switch, like a receptor that was striving and craving and desiring switches off. And then it's not a matter of having a fight for a diet, it's changing your lifestyle healthy because you don't have that addiction anymore.
Yeah. Okay, Ilker, I mean, it's very interesting. On the other hand, you know, we have always been saying, and we believe in that, the gut microbiome wants that gluten, and you were talking about it before the shooting. So what's your idea, opinion about this, just switching off and then not craving that much?
Actually, you know that we have a very big nerve in our body called vagus nerve. It starts here in your brain, and it goes like this with your lungs, livers, heart, and down to your intestines. And everybody thought that it started from here and ends here. And with the last decades, with the clinical trials, it revealed that it may start here as well and
go
here.
up.
So our bacteria is also they are neurotransmitters. So if you switch on the receptor in your brain, it goes there. And if you switch off the receptor here, it goes there.
Absolutely.
So it's vice versa.
Yeah.
Actually, that's why we have a lot of similarities here.
Yeah.
So after 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe you do it just after 1 day, and we do it after 3 weeks.
Yeah.
After 3 weeks, they won't need any gluten anymore.
Well, the thing is, we also speak about 21 days. It's interesting because I make the craving or the desire much less. Of course, as soon as they stop eating the gluten, the microbiome starves from it. But it is a process that takes about 21 days because that's the time the body's actually cleaning out the chemicals that were being manufactured.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what happens if, consider that I came to you, I'm not smoking, but consider that I was smoking and I came to you and in 1.5 hours I just switched off the craving for a cigarette.
Yeah.
But did you ever make any sort of an experiment, just have someone and just wanting to, I mean, just smoking after the therapy?
Absolutely.
What happened? I mean, what happened? Did you?
If I try to explain about these receptors in the brain, I like to tell people it's a bit like the box at home where you have all the electrical fuses for the kitchen, for the micro, for this. And I go click, click, click. But you cannot delete, you cannot take the brain out.
Yeah.
Now, if a certain area as a receptor for nicotine is switched off, but there is still nicotine in the blood.
Yeah.
So we tell people, listen, it's going to take you about 20 days to actually detox the nicotine out of your blood system. Mm-hmm. Because in the first few days, it goes out from the blood, but then every cell in the body has nicotine, and it starts to throw it into the blood. So we talk about 3 weeks where people should be drinking a lot of water to help them actually get rid of the nicotine. Now, to your question, if a person stops smoking, even after 5 years, if they take one cigarette, it will open the switch, the receptor is switched on, and within a week they will be back to their historical 2-pack, 3-pack a day.
Maybe I'm very much into the meditation and, you know, the neuroplasticity of the brain, of course. The neurons fire together, wire together. I guess maybe that's why you said after 5 years, still there is the hardwired neuron snaps between about this smoking craving. So
it will never disappear, but it'll be asleep.
Yeah. And I believe if they also start to, that's my opinion, just telling right now, if they start to meditate, then, you know, with the meditate, you just try to focus at the moment, and you just, those hardwired neurons, you try to lose that neurons hardwiring, and it would also, I guess, after that switching off, that's a good thing. This is
definitely part of what happens in the process of the therapy itself. Because when we're doing the therapy, for the person, they're just sitting on a chair.
Yeah.
But we are working with certain aspects of how the wiring is working. Mm-hmm. And many times people open their eyes because we tell them kind of close your eyes, sit comfortably. Mm-hmm. When they open their eyes, they say, listen, it's just like I had a meditation, or I was far, far away.
Okay, very deep meditation.
They go like into alpha state.
Okay.
And then when they come out, 70% say it's like I never smoked in my life. 15% actually have repulsion. Mm-hmm. They smell their own clothes or the car. Mm-hmm. And 15% are people that still have like flashbacks here and there. Mm-hmm. And those are the ones that we do fine-tuning. Mm-hmm. But most of the people come out and they say, listen, I don't know what you did. It works.
Uh-huh. So is it sort of so it's very short time period you're talking about, like is it sort of a hypnosis or does
No, not at all, because the person is totally awake and we don't talk during the therapy. Okay. And they sit comfortably and we're doing what we're doing. But definitely people describe that after it's like something shifted, something changed. It was a experience.
Yeah, it happens. Just if you get into the deep meditation, and you know that there are some studies about it. You change the your DNA on the molecular level, cellular level. So it's very interesting. And where is your headquarters? Which countries are you located? As I know, you had been in Turkey for a while, like 5-6 years.
Yeah, we started in Istanbul about 6 years ago. Okay. And since then, we've been doing treatments all over Turkey. Mm-hmm. Because, you know, in the beginning, people would fly to Istanbul to do the therapy. But when they go home and tell friends, we get a call, can you send a therapist, please, to Ankara, to Gaziantep, to Izmir, to Ishkihir. So we've been doing now in many cities in Turkey. We started in Israel. Okay. In Israel, there are 9 clinics. And in the last few years, we've added now New York, Los Angeles, Miami, Mexico City, Panama, Colombia. Mm-hmm. It's kind of spreading.
Great. Yeah, U.S., Panama. Maybe we should just make an experiment because, as you know, what we do is gluten-free, sugar-free diets. And as Ilker said, in 21 days, they don't crave for gluten anymore or sugar. Yeah. But there are some people, especially the first week, first 10 days is very tough. And some people, unfortunately, they can't do it. They can't resist that requirement. Yeah. Maybe we should just check it out with some volunteers who would like to do it.
A very strong kickstart.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I'll tell you, we have now a lot of arrangements with many doctors and dietitians around the world because they say the same thing. They say the people know what they should do. We tell them what would be right. We even make them the food, but some of them, they say it's too difficult. Mm-hmm. These are people that I believe for them the sugar is like cocaine, it's like heroin. Yes, exactly. And when you look in MRI photos, you can look at the brain when a person is taking coke or shooting up, and the same area lights up as sugar, sucrose. Yeah. So some people, they are addicts, real addicts.
I guess not some. So many. I mean, because it's normal. It's the dopamine and endorphin
in Turkey, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Turkey is because alcohol was never allowed in the earlier days, people went to sugar to get a sugar high. Yeah. And then, of course, insulin kicks in, knocks it down, they feel low. What's the answer? Baklava.
Yeah. You know, I give workshops and seminars at least once a week. And in every seminar, I ask them, okay, is there anybody that you can go without sugar or without bread even one day? And everybody says no.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And I say that if you are addicted to some kind of food or emotion or somebody, it harms you.
It's an addiction.
Yeah. You have to find the balance. First, you have to get rid of your addictions. Then you have to find the balance.
Yeah.
Yes. And on the meditation side, I mean, being at the moment, if you have that addiction, you're just living always the day before. And you're just living in the past. And if you live in the past, then this is the physical side we're talking about. And the emotional side, also you have that stress and everything going on. Just last question, we're coming to our end of our program. I just want to ask, have you ever done any medical research with the doctors, this therapy?
We've been working with doctors,
yes,
but it's very difficult to get Helsinki to work with what they call, uncharted territory.
Yeah, that's what we also experience with the food.
My father is a doctor. He's a professor of medicine.
Okay.
And I love what he says. He says medicine and science, it works by researching what was before and what was after, even if we don't yet understand the middle. Yeah. And he says it's a bit like a black box. You put in a smoker, you get a non-smoker. You put in an addict to sugar, they come out sugar-free. So the results are amazing. We are now past our 100,000 person that we have treated. And most of the people we see come through friends. So that's the best reference. Yeah.
It's great. So as a last word, is there anything that you want to add for our ending program?
Well, I think that what you're doing is an amazing thing, because you're actually giving people the possibility to make the change. Some people can do it just by listening to this is what you should do. Some people need assistance, and that's what we found. Some people can say, okay, I'm stopping to smoke today. They throw the cigarette because they're going to have a baby, and they never smoke again. And some people say, I'm going to stop, and the next day they restart. Yeah. So I think where I can help is especially in the area of people who say, I need assistance. And then I think definitely can be referred to where they can get help, the correct diet. So I can definitely see this connection working. And yes, in Istanbul, I cannot get away from smoke. Everywhere I go, people are smoking. Yes. Yeah.
Thank you for
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.